who's really been kind of running the show behind the scenes, because it ain't been Joe.
Joe Biden did not decide not to run. Joe Biden isn't capable of deciding not to run. Jill Biden decided not to run. And why did Jill decide it? Jill Biden hates Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And they endorsed her. Why?
How conspiratorial can we get?
Oh, let's have fun. And we've got, as you can see here, let's take a look. What's going on with Joe Biden today? Did we finally? Joe Biden's out. Joe Biden is out. Joe Biden has dropped out of the presidential race. Probably not a huge surprise to many, but here we are. I thought this was perfect to illuminate the situation here.
I just want to say that we must unburden the burdens that have happened before us. That is the job of this show, is to unburden, to let the unburdening begin.
Is that a Kamala line or is that a Biden line? Because I can't tell the difference anymore.
Oh, Kamala owns that line.
Okay.
I think Michelle is forecasting what we will be hearing for weeks to come.
I don't know that she's actually going to be
the. Okay. I don't know that she's going to be the candidate, though. It looks likely.
I don't either.
Obama and Pelosi have not sponsored her. They have not given her an endorsement. There's something going on.
No, Obama came out and made a comment about, how great Joe Biden is, but he stopped abruptly short of nominating Kamala, and that was after Biden or after Kamala endorsed, Biden endorsed Kamala. So I don't, it doesn't surprise me at all.
How conspiratorial can we get?
Oh, let's have fun.
Okay.
As long as we preface it with, this is my opinion. This is what I think. And hey, some people out there might think this is crazy, but look, I look at this as, if we're going to get into the topics, let's have a little fun. We can spitball it. And obviously within reason. I don't want to get, too cuckoo crazy, but I mean, I don't think anybody here is going to go down.
We're not going to go past the well-known fact that there are lizard people on the other side of the moon. We will not go past that.
Yeah, lizard people are fine. But no, we'll have a little fun with it. YouTube, lighten up a little bit. We're going to talk about this because, again, especially after the events of the last 8, 9, 10 days, we need to have conversations where we can freely hypothesize based on what evidence we do have, and maybe trying to fill in the gaps with evidence we don't, within reason, and stipulating clearly that these are opinions based on gut feelings or whatever. But
can I just interject that if we have a political opinion that goes too far and might get this channel in trouble with YouTube, Valiant, your safe word is, oh God, no, stop, don't say that. All right, we're good. We're good.
Well, who do you think has really been the driving? Who's really been pulling the strings? If you had to take a guess, who's really been kind of running the show behind the scenes? Because it ain't been Joe. Let's be honest.
No. Well, I mean, I feel like the Obamas probably played a role, definitely. But clearly, just like his cabinet, whoever his cabinet is, all of them have clearly been running the country, because we all know Biden has not. He doesn't know whether he's about to kiss his wife or a woman who just has blonde hair.
That was funny.
So
sad, but funny. I mean, if Joe wasn't who he was, I might think it was more sad.
Hey,
but
I like wife.
Yeah,
I like chair. I like lamp. I like speakers. I love my monitor.
He loves that monitor, man. Yeah.
Internet thing.
He is like Ron Burgundy. He will say anything that is put up on that monitor.
I love books.
End quote. Repeat the line.
Stephanie?
Wait for applause.
I think that, his caretaker, Jill, has been taking care of him.
Mm-hmm.
And because he hasn't had his mental faculties in a while. So she's been taking care of him. I don't think that she's been running anything, but I think it's a combined effort between the Obamas, the Clintons, Nancy Pelosi, and it's a combined effort between them to make sure that, and his cabinet, or not his cabinet, and the team around Biden, a combined effort to make sure that none of this news gets out. Everybody's on the same page, and they're running the country like all together. Like I think that's what it is. It is a combined group effort to make it look and appear as if Joe Biden is running the country when he's not.
Right.
It is completely clear, and I think that the best thing that could have happened was to have an early debate, which I think was a political strategy to get him out of the race. But the best thing that could have happened for optics purposes, for the Republican side, as well as waking up a bunch of Democrats, is having that debate early and actually showing people, like, look, he can't even last an hour and a half in a debate. Like he was gone after like half an hour. So
I don't even know if it was half an hour. It might have been about
it was like
the meds started to wear off pretty quickly.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Very quickly. Here's what I'll say. The people behind this, Joe Biden did not decide not to run. Joe Biden isn't capable of deciding not to run. Jill Biden decided not to run. And why did Jill decide it? Jill decided not to run, folks, because someone made an offer that Jill could no longer refuse.
That's it.
Why do you think Hunter's been partying over on the West Coast? Because Hunter is out of jail. He's going to get something that's going to make the whole family feel very swell. The trick here, the strange thing that everybody needs to pay attention to, is who got endorsed. Guess what? Biden endorsed Kamala. But do you think Biden endorsed Kamala? No, he doesn't have the mental fortitude to endorse Kamala. Jill endorsed Kamala, and Jill hates Kamala. Biden hates Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And they endorsed her. Why? I think it's to get back at the people who got rid of Joe Biden. We need, when Obama makes his endorsement, we'll know something, because the Obamas want an open convention. They want to get a pick outside of this.
We've gone from, in the last, just 6 hours, as expected, Joe Biden has withdrawn from the presidential race, to now calls and questioning, hey, Joe, if you're not going to run, maybe you shouldn't be president right now. So that's starting to work its way into the news cycles too, that he should resign from office. I don't necessarily see that happening. The question is who winds up getting the nomination, and then I wonder how long have the Democrats really kind of been eyeballing this, as this was the plan from months ago. I don't think.
Well, and I'm glad Ron's here, because it's my understanding that different states have different laws. Isn't that part of what's coming up now as the conversation, is that they may actually have to hold some kind of new primary or something like that, Ron? Is that my understanding? Or?
I frankly have heard and read. I'm not an expert on election law. I dabble in it with my firm. And I'm sure I will have many opportunities to do so again in the near future.
Oh, sorry. That was nothing
dramatic, but I just have a feeling that at the very least I'll be dispatched. I don't know. I've heard that. I mean, as a general rule, remember, you're voting for electors. And the electors for Biden are the same as the electors for Harris. So I don't know how big of a deal it is, what it really says on the ballot. Now, if indeed it's Harris, and by the way, you this might very well have come out after you started, Valiant. Obama did not only not endorse Kamala, he has explicitly announced that he's not endorsing Kamala. He tweeted,
that's
Valiant, Obama is not silent. He came out and said he is not making an endorsement, but he is confident that the leaders of the Democratic Party will find an appropriate candidate. That's a big deal.
Obama was very mum on the word. He seemed emphatic. He wasn't going to endorse anybody. Like you said, it wasn't just that he omitted an endorsement. He said he wasn't prepared to. He talks about he hopes the leaders of the party will make the right decision. Of course, it's kind of funny because he is one. he is one of probably the 3 or 4 or 5 major leaders of that party still, between himself, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. They're outside of those 3. There's little else. And what's to me is funny is because, I mean, honestly, Kamala is not one of them. It's like, I think she wants to project the idea that she is. And I think, and Ron, let me ask your opinion on this. And I stepped away for a second, so I apologize if I missed this. I thought when whoever wrote the "I'm not running anymore" letter for Biden, because we all know it wasn't him.
It wasn't him.
Yeah,
he's not allowed a phone.
No, he doesn't even know what day his left shoe is on. Okay.
Yeah.
But whenever somebody wrote that letter specifically, and I get it from a let's just call it a pure marketing standpoint, they simply said, "I'm not running again," and they left it at that. And then 15 minutes later on X, there was a post that said, "I endorse Kamala Harris."
Mm-hmm.
So they separated the "I'm not running" deliberately, obviously, from the "I endorse." Now, I don't know if something changed within the 15 minutes or if that was planned from the get-go. I'd probably more err to the side that it was planned from the get-go. But I wonder how truly genuine and emphatic that endorsement really was. I feel like it was something that the Biden team felt like we don't have a choice, because if we don't give her a statement of support or an endorsement in this moment, we're undermining her, specter of like, we picked a real idiot, right? Even though they may not follow through financially and in the next few months with endorsing Kamala. They just made a statement, just like a vacuous statement. I don't know, Ron, what do you think about that?
I think there are a lot of, this is unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it's being managed is unprecedented.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
As
you
Mike
mean
just
tweeting
pointed
out a
out.
resignation from your candidacy is? Oh yeah, I thought that was totally normal. I wish
He
they'd done
did
it on
do a-
TikTok instead.
He did do an actual address, didn't he? Or no?
No,
No,
screw
he
the
didn't.
Oval Office,
He
Oval
tweeted it
Office,
out.
screw the White
They're-
House,
they're-
screw all that.
In other words,
X
whoever
post
has
is enough.
control of the X account resigned him from office.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, here's the thing is,
Talk.
what I was going to say about this is this was already set in motion way before last Saturday.
Mhm.
And what the
absolutely.
clincher of this was the moment when you had George Clooney and other big supporters come out and say no, because then they knew that they were going to end up pulling their money.
Mhm.
Right. So it's between the money and the
Oh.
public support. It
I
just
think
wasn't there for Joe anymore. And after Saturday, I mean, I'm sure that made the final decision, but I'm sure they had already come to this conclusion before that. But my curiosity goes with how, if they're pushing for Kamala, then it goes along with what you were saying, Valiant. And my guess is they know that they can't just, announce some new nominee. They have to go with her. Otherwise, all that money has to go back, but it's in a super PAC right now or something like that anyway. So that shouldn't matter.
A super PAC wouldn't make a difference, but whatever is actually in the Biden-Harris campaign fund, that's what is going to be restricted to those two candidates. So if Biden, in theory, were to say peace out, which he now has,
Mhm.
and if it were to become a Harris ticket, then it flies. But if Gavin Newsom or somebody else, Michelle Obama, becomes the nominee, then effectively what's happening is the Democrat Party is going to have to forego, under the laws, I understand, or
I'm
something
not so
like
sure about that. I saw something about that that it doesn't go to the campaign, but it goes to the party anyway.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then that strikes me as not a very big deal.
Okay, well, maybe so. I mean, if you're telling me that if the Biden-Harris campaign could turn around and just rescind of their own volition that all of that cash back to the DNC, and the DNC could decide what to do with it?
Yeah, so I found a pretty good article from the Associated Press, and I know that they are not reliable, all things being equal.
Oxymoron in that first sentence there,
Yeah,
Ron.
yeah, I
Easy
know.
does it.
Well,
know,
before we
but-
get into this, I just want to say, like, I've noticed there's some there's a disturbance in the force on that side. Like, because there's a lot of people who are saying that I didn't, vote in the primaries for Biden. I didn't, donate, or I didn't for Kamala. I didn't donate to Kamala. They don't want Kamala.
Mhm.
So I wonder if there's going to be a lot of turmoil and inner fighting within the next few weeks within the party itself.
Oh, definitely.
I think it's
That-
just going to be, it's just for appearances right now. Honestly, that's what I think. Him endorsing Kamala, it's just for appearances right now.
Yes.
It would look really bad if he didn't endorse her because let's face it, she is a DEI hire. Kamala Harris is ridiculous. She makes the Democratic Party look stupid, look awful. She doesn't really do anything but make herself look dumb. So if he didn't endorse her, it would look really bad on him, right? Like, why didn't you endorse Kamala? Look, she's a strong Black woman. Why aren't you endorsing her? She's like a temporary candidate right now. I don't think she's going to go all the way. Honestly, I really don't. If they choose to decide to make her go all the way, then honestly, in my opinion, and I'm just put my little tinfoil hat on, Joe Biden is going to relinquish the presidency and she's going to become like the interim president, right? So that way the American people can see what she would be like as a president.
I agree. I thought about that earlier today. I was like,
Yeah,
if
that's
they
the only
really-
way that I can see her going the distance is for Joe Biden to step down as president and resign, and for her to take his spot. So that way it would show the American people like, look, she's actually is a good candidate. Because all we have right now are clips of her saying ridiculous things and laughing like an uncontrollable hyena. Like that.
But
That's really all
The
Americans.
problem, Steph, is she doesn't have that. You've seen all she's got.
right.
That's it.
I think the Biden people thought that June was as soon as they could pull this off, and he was on the decline, and they needed to hide it. I don't think that the Biden people are necessarily the Democratic Party people. I think they wanted him out, but I think Jill Biden and her sycophants and Biden sycophants, the few that there are, thought a June debate was the best. Give him a week off, juice him up, get him out there, survive enough, the polls will be fine, then cancel the next one in September because you'll say that Trump is a felon, and then you win with the basement strategy again. Hand it off to Kamala in 2 years, then you've got the first female president through the Democrat Party, and she's off to having a good chance at winning because of all of the check boxes she has. What went wrong was the juice didn't do enough. And he went out there and he showed the world what he was, and then all the other stuff went wrong, and that was when they had to make a pivot.
I think that they knew, the party leaders, the people who put all this together. I think there was something in there. They knew one way or the other. We have to have a clear distinction before we get to the convention, because they cannot wait to go to the convention floor, have Joe Biden actually get the nomination, and then try to get rid of him. There was almost no way in hell that was going to happen. It had to be done before the convention, and now they have a solid 30 days, basically. I think the convention starts on August 18th or 19th. They got 30 days before Chicago. Isn't it funny? It's in Chicago again, like the last time. They have 30 days before the convention in Chicago to come up with a plan. And I promise you, there's going to be a lot of discussion about what that plan is and who that plan is for between now and then. And I
appreciate it at Valiant and Pro. You're both going along the same lines.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's a lot of cynicism and there's a lot of performative stuff going on. But this idea that it was supposed to go like this.
Mm-hmm.
No.
What was supposed to go like this was when they realized they weren't going to drag Joe over the finish line for another 4.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it's probably sometime in the last 6 months when he really began to decline.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife keeps asking me, how could they have thought? I said, because you can fool some of the people some of the time, and they thought they had another some of the time in there.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, when you considered that a third of the country would vote for him right now.
Yeah.
Would still vote for him right now. Okay. So they're figuring, okay, we'll just do the convicted. Remember, also, the convicted felon stuff didn't go the way it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
The immunity stuff didn't go the way it was supposed to go.
No.
The Florida case didn't go the way it was supposed to go. So
Nope.
lots of smoke is coming out from under that hood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
the
think they
poll
were
numbers
hoping that
haven't
he would
gotten any
get
better.
there. I think they were hoping that he would at least last until November, right? That way after he won, he can step down. And then they put Kamala in there. But there's no way that he would have lasted that long.
I think
way,
you're right. I think they
Pelosi
were hoping
is-
for this. Wait, hang on a second. I think they were hoping for that, but I think this is also the reason why part of me is setting up this thing in June like they did, I think was they gave themselves an ability to pivot if they needed to right there.
Just like a contingency plan.
And they took it because the fact that every news organization within minutes, literally, and I'm talking, I can count on one hand, within minutes, the number of minutes after that thing was over, and they were all, wow, that was terrible. They might need to get rid of Biden.
They all had the same script.
So I'm like, come on, man. I've watched him do this. I mean, Limbaugh 30 years ago when he had his television show always used to make these famous montages of like how all the news media within minutes, they'd go over to the fax machine, they'd get the facts from the DNC, and then they'd recite the same 5 words on every... And that's what we got after that debate that night. I'm like, here we go again. This is...
Yeah, I mean, Jake Tapper is such a cynical bastard.
Yeah.
So Obama is now joined by Pelosi, both of them calling for an open convention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no such thing as an open convention in the Democratic Party. What
Yeah.
they mean is a non-Kamala option.
Correct.
These people, as you pointed out, or I think it was you,
I'll take it if it was good.
they're very careful. They're very meticulous.
They are.
Well, definitely am not surprised. It'll be interesting to see what they do because I think they need to be very careful because, I mean, I'm just going to play by their rules here. How do you just skip over a Black woman? You know, that doesn't feel
Can't do
like
it unless
you're abiding.
Obama says you can.
I mean, it doesn't feel like you're abiding by the rules that they have established. That feels, you know, a little racist and sexist to me. So I don't know. You know, according to them, I don't know how you do that. I feel that makes them racist and sexist. I feel like Kamala needs to unburden what has been burdened, and it is her time. And, you know, there's a passage of time that she talks about as well. So I just think regardless of what they do, I don't know. It's just what I saw. I have never quite, in my lifetime, I have never witnessed such a united RNC. And it feels like I'm heading into the most chaotic DNC that I've ever witnessed in my lifetime as well. So I don't know. We'll see what they're doing. They are very, can't ever rule the Dems out. We'll say that. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how this goes. It's definitely chaotic.
Yeah, let's just go with this, Michelle, because I mean this is basically what we're talking about, right? Is and it won't play now. Of course, here we go. You know, our friend.
Oh my God.